organization and one of the long-time GPU partners with funding from the civil society in development, also based in Denmark.
This is a very important event that's going to help improve professionalism in terms of management. It's important for us as journalists to be able to know what our rights are when we are being employed.
Lamin Sise is the trainer and he shares the areas that will be covered during the session.
Yeah, thank you, Alo. The training is focused on three core main areas. One, understanding the process of negotiation and the ethics of negotiation, and also labor rights. I think these are very key, important areas as employees-employer relationship is concerned that all of both sides should be aware of, so that we don't take advantage of each other.
These participants are hopeful that the training will guide them in their future negotiation as they promise to share the knowledge gained with their colleagues. Umar Ba is a journalist with the Standard newspaper and one of the participants.
I think this training, after this training, like I said, I'll be able to confidently negotiate issues of contracts with not only my employee, but anybody who give me work relating to my work as a journalist.
It is one thing to train journalists on salary negotiation. However, for this to be effective, there must be a wage structure agreed by all media owners. This might be hard to achieve as not all media houses have the same resources. Nonetheless, this training puts journalists in a stronger bargaining position armed with better knowledge of their rights and entitlements. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
Following the coup in Guinea that led to the overthrow of President Alpha Condé, our reporter in Basse, Fode Mane, spoke to some Guinean nationals in URR about the situation in their country. Here is the report.
Gambia is a home to hundreds of Guineans, and there have always been strong cultural and diplomatic ties between the two states. As events of the Sunday coup unfolded in Guinea's capital Conakry, its citizens living abroad are worried and are keenly following what is happening in their country. Ibrahima Balde, a Guinean living in URR, said the 83-year-old Condé has reached elections since 2010 to remain in power. He added that the coup was timely and commended coup leader Lieutenant Colonel Doumbia.
Gilandema 2010 vota Oganyaki Beforsi Ojodi Kalamu.
He lost both the 2010 and 2015 elections, but he forced his way to become president. Again, he manipulated for a third term. Today, every Guinean is suffering. He is beating, killing and jailing people for no reason. All kinds of bad things are done to Guineans. This colonel came to save us, so we are very happy about the coup.
The West Africa bloc, ECOWAS, has suspended Guinea following the coup. ECOWAS has also sent a mediation mission to Guinea to discuss the situation and call for the release of Alpha Condé, who is in detention at undisclosed location. In a press release on Sunday, the Gambia government reaffirmed the ECOWAS position and condemned the coup. Mamadou Korkaba, the president of the Guinean community in URR, says the statements made by the international community are just formalities to condemn the coup, but said he is confident that they will act in the best interest of the majority of the Guinean people to remove a dictator.
Previously, the fare from Gambia to Guinea was 3,000 CFA, whether you are going to Conakry or Labe, excluding food and water, which is not easy to get, especially for those of us struggling here. So if Allah help us and remove such a leader from power, we are thankful to Allah.
Abdou Karim Diallo, also a Guinean, said the military takeover is the best thing to get rid of Condé. Ibrahima Sissoko, fondly called Alpha Condé due to his love and support for Condé, has this to say.
One person should not continue ruling a country for so long. When your 2 terms end, you should step down and allow another person to take over.
Abdurrahman Ba also expressed his feelings about the coup.
I really like and support the coup because Condé is removed, but I'm totally against military rule. After successfully taking over, they should hand over power to civilians to restore peace and order in Guinea. because we have suffered so long at the hands of Alpha Condé.
The leader of the coup, Lieutenant Colonel Mamadou Doumbia, on Monday said a new union government will be formed in weeks. He also told ministers who served in the Condé's government that there will be no witch hunt against former officials. However, the UN, African Union have taken a similar stance to ECOWAS in condemning the coup and calling for a return to civilian rule. Reporting for QTV News, I am Fode.
The Diplomacy Etiquette and Protocol Consulting Agency on Friday concluded 5 days training on diplomatic protocols for staff of the Gambia Revenue Authority, the Accountant General's Office and the National Audit Office. And Sumana Isonyasi tells us more.
Training was organized to strengthen the capacity of staff of 3 important public institutions, the GRA, National Audit Office and the Accountant General's Office, to institute a culture of diplomacy and strong observance of protocols within the civil service and the entire governance structure. Addressing participants at the end of the training, widely respected former Gambian ambassador to Senegal, Burkina Faso, Mali and Togo, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, His Excellency Ambassador Ibrahima Ousmane Dour, CEO of Diplomacy, Etiquette and Protocol Consulting, expressed gratitude to all government institutions for their continuous partnership, and went on to emphasize the importance of capacity building on protocols, especially for civil servants.
This was to get the participants to share best practices in the execution of their respective duties, particularly in cognizance of the fact that all these 3 institutions respectively interact with the diplomatic world and that they assign their officials to most of the Gambian diplomatic missions abroad.
Lamin Jawara and Habib Jara, Permanent Secretaries for Personal Management Office and Foreign Affairs, respectively, say government recognizes the need to close capacity gaps, thus the importance of organizing such training, and gave an assurance of government's commitment and partnership.
The training is therefore taking into account the context as well as the challenges we encounter occasionally as we attend and or host international conferences and delegations.
Mfali Fadera, Head of Branding and Communications at the OIC Gambia Secretariat, and Mustafa Jeng, a participant, both paid tribute to Ambassador Ndour for his selfless service to country and stressed the impact such training will have on staff productivity, especially within the civil service.
Because as middle management and senior management officers, you are the representatives of your organizations. And whenever you represent your organizations, you want to put your best foot forward. You know, when you represent your organization, you are a brand ambassador for your organization. So it is important that we are reminded of this diplomatic etiquette and diplomatic skills to make sure we represent our organizations well at all times.
To a very large extent, we have received knowledge transfer from a very distinguished diplomat. I have the privilege of working with him in Dakar, and he has been a mentor in diplomacy. We are grateful, sir.
Participants were trained on business, corporate, office and social etiquette and were each awarded certificates in recognition of their participation in the training. Among those in attendance at Friday's closing ceremony was the Commissioner General of the Gambia Revenue Authority, Yankuba Dabo. Ansumane Sonyasi for QTV News.
From that story, we will go for a short commercial break. Still to come, we have more stories. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Moving on, 10,000 items worth over $17 million was donated on Friday to Gambian institutions by Estonian Police and Border Guards Board to help improving their response capacity. Here is the report. The items are safety vests, outer jackets, trousers, hats, shirts, flint jackets, uniforms and belts, among other valuables. The beneficiaries are the Gambia Immigration Department, the Gambia Police Force, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, Aviation Security and the Ministry of Health. At the event, Tamo Vikma, representative of the Estonian Police and Border Guard Board, hopes the items will be put into good use and will further strengthen ties between the two countries.
I hope this project and our activities have laid a solid ground for even closer and good cooperation in the future with our friends in the smiling coast of Africa. And in case of mutual interests, we are from our side ready to look for possibilities for new joint activities.
Expressing appreciation, Muhammadu M. Kujabi, representing the police commissioner, stated that the items will prove very useful in helping them carry out their duties. CDM Toure, the Director General of the Gambia Immigration Department, had this to say.
Chief and laudable gesture was coordinated and organized by our counterpart, Mr. Stanford Porter, the EU Liaison Officer in the Gambia. On behalf of myself and the entire Immigration Department, more especially the command at Banjul International Airport, I would like to seize this opportunity to thank Mr. Stan and his authorities for all the support they have been rendering and continue to render to the Gambia Immigration Department.
The Gambia authorities and Estonian police and border guards have a long-standing relationship, and they have been training some of our security in identifying fake documents and human trafficking. In July this year, 27 Gambian aviation security personnel undertook a week-long training course in document interception conducted by the Estonian police and border guards. Fansu Bojang, the Director General of the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, thanked Estonian police for the help, adding that the items will help his staff execute their duties effectively.
These uniforms being handed over today will undoubtedly boost the morale of our personnel, whilst the reflectors will enhance their safety and security during operations. The materials will go a long way in complementing our efforts in providing the right equipment and creating the right environment for the improvement of aviation security at BIA.
The project is financed by the Estonian Ministry of Foreign Affairs from Development and Humanitarian Aid Funds. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News. In many African countries, including the Gambia, mothers and their daughters usually have limits as to what they can discuss with each other, which affects comfort and trust between them. This is what prompted the Mother-Daughter Dialogue organized by Paradise Foundation's Tahawu Jigeen initiative, supported by UNFPA. More in this report by Gina Bosonko.
Research shows that gender-based violence, particularly violence against women and girls, is a global pandemic affecting 1 in 3 women in their lifetime. Some of this violence occurs in homes, making it especially difficult. Women's rights activist Fatou Balde MBE spoke to us about the need for parents to have conversations with their children.
Often when we engage communities, a lot of young girls tell us that they find it difficult to open up to their parents, for example, when they experience abuse. And I think this has to do with our culture of silence, especially around these sensitive issues. So we are encouraging all parents, be it male or female, to have that openness within us. We know that this is our culture, and for years this is how we have behaved and practiced. But I think it's high time that we try to change that.
Fatou Bintu Fati is a participating mother and says she always pushes her children to have conversations with her that some people regard as too sensitive to have with children. I am very happy about this dialogue. Children are raped. They are victims of child marriage and other harmful practices. Child marriage is not good because I am a victim and I'm dealing with the negative effects. A girl child is supposed to be their mother's best friend, so they wouldn't hide anything from you, which can prevent sexual and gender-based violence. As part of the Paradise Foundation's Tahawu Jigeen initiative, they started a program called GEMS Program, a young women and girls leadership program. The program includes career coaching, life skills development, leadership skills, and community volunteering. 20 young women and girls from various schools are currently benefiting. Aisha Balde, the executive director of Paradise Foundation, elaborates.
We meet the girls once every week and have sessions with them. In fact, we visited all their homes to know how they live, to be able to design a program that is suitable for them. Because we sometimes take for granted our privileges, but then when you visit them, you know what kind of homes they come from and what they aspire to become. In fact, what we do is guide them, and they bring out what they want. And one of the key things that came out of the sessions was the need for psychosocial support. Because as we know, the way the Gambian woman is being brought up is always like so much emphasis of who you become, what you want to do this.
Ndeye Amisabali is one of the girls benefiting from the GEMS program. And according to her, after she appeared on TV to talk about the harmful traditional practices she learned from the program, she was bullied by women in her community. Despite that, she is still determined to participate.
Since this program has started, I have learned a lot. I've learned a lot of things about gender-based violence, sexual harassment, and other stuff, and circumcision as well. When I went home, my mom asked me, "What is your program about? What are they teaching you there?" So I explained everything to her, and she told me that it was very beneficial.
The Paradise Foundation's The Haujigen initiative aims to focus on supporting women by providing accurate, supportive care and messaging to enhance women's safety, dignity and rights. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Busong.
Now in sports news. In almost every African country, soccer is the #1 sport. For Guineans living in the USA, being away from home has not lessened their love of the world's favorite game. QTV's U.S. correspondent Howard Cisse tells us about an interstate soccer tournament now in its 16th year.
The Guinean Interstate Soccer Tournament celebrates its 16th year here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a tournament that brings Guineans around the United States into one city every year during Labor Day weekend. A weekend where they celebrate and unite through a soccer tournament. Last year it was held in Memphis, Tennessee, and this year they're all gathering the way it all started 16 years ago.
This soccer tournament, we started 2005. It was here, Atlanta. We have almost 16 states, and as we participate in this tournament.
At the hotel on Friday during the opening event, the board did a drawing. Minnesota. I spoke to the president and he told me how they are going to be applying safety measures due to COVID-19 and making sure that people are staying safe and that they are vaccinated and wearing masks and socially distanced throughout the tournament.
And then we know the COVID is here, so the COVID is killing a lot of people. So if you're not vaccinated, maybe you don't need to come here.
I spoke to a player from California and he said he's just ready to have a good time.
We are Californians, we are just going to go have fun. We're just going to go play soccer and just enjoy the competition.
He told me their team were very selective, making sure they pick strategic players because they are just ready to take this cup home.
I don't think California has ever won the tournament, but this year I'm really confident that the boys are ready, they are ready to work, and we are ready to win the trophy this year.
Tennessee is also here to win, however only one team will take the cup home.
Goal for this year, as I've been in this organization for 10 years, is to win.
However, the former coach for New York City believes New York will be taking the cup home.
I used to be the coach of New York, which I won 4 cups as a coach. And as a manager of the team, I got 2 other cups. And then we got I think the third one, I was just in the bureau as an organizing.